Ladies and gentlemen, the show will commence in 5 minutes. While you are waiting, please hit the like button and share the video link.
Please like and leave a comment, and share this video.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin. Grab a drink and a snack, sit down and enjoy watching the show. Don't forget to comment, like the video, and share it to others.
It's live show 76, streaming live from Minsk, Belarus, and time is up. The countdown has begun. Let's get on with the show. Time is running out for Ukraine, and the world is beginning to see the truth that has been hidden behind the smoke and mirrors of Western propaganda from the start. NATO and the West have pushed this war, provoked this war, and funded this war, fueling a conflict that should never have escalated. They have sent weapons, money, and empty promises of support to Ukraine, encouraging a fight that was never theirs to win. And now, as the months drag on, it is clear that NATO and the West have led Ukraine down a path of destruction, leaving the country to face the dire consequences alone. Russia did not choose this war. Russia was defending itself, defending its borders, its people, and those in eastern Ukraine who speak Russian, live Russian lives, and see themselves as Russian. For years, the people of Donetsk, Lugansk, and beyond have suffered under the regime that does not represent them. They are Russian in their hearts and history, but Ukraine, propped up by NATO, chose to ignore their voices, instead turning to repression and violence. Russia stood up to defend them, to push back against the tide of neo-Nazi ideology that has poisoned the Ukrainian state, an ideology well documented but brushed aside by Western media. And the West, the so-called defenders of democracy, they have turned a blind eye to the resurgence of far-right extremism in Ukraine. There are countless photos, videos and evidence of Ukrainian soldiers adorned with Nazi symbols, saluting a twisted past that the world promised never to repeat. Russia is not fighting for its borders, it's fighting to purge Ukraine of this dangerous ideology. Russia is on the right side of history, and history will remember who stood against the resurgence of fascism. But what has Ukraine gained from its alliance with the West? Crippled finances, bodies piling up, and the government teetering on collapse. Ukraine is running out of money to pay its soldiers, running out of men to send to the front lines. They are now recruiting women, even boys, children who should be in school, not holding rifles. Ukraine's men are fleeing in droves because they see the futility of this fight. They know this is not a war they can win. It's a war dictated by foreign interests, a war that has taken over 800,000 Ukrainian lives. Fathers, brothers, sons, all sent to die in a conflict that should never have been. And now, even the Ukrainian government is unraveling. The president, clinging to the last vestiges of power, has fired most of his government. It's a sign of desperation, a ship sinking under the weight of its own lies and failures. Ukraine's leadership is abandoning ship, but the West remains pushing Ukraine further into ruin. The latest military blunder in Poltava, where NATO and Western military instructors fell alongside hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers, is just another chapter in the tragic story. Sweden, the US, the EU, all shipping their dead home, all bearing witness to the cost of their reckless intervention. Time is up for Ukraine. The country is out of options, out of resources, and out of hope. Russia will win this conflict, not because of superior in arms, but because Russia is fighting with purpose and resolve. Russia is defending its people, its history, and its future. The West has led Ukraine into this disaster, and now they are turning their backs as Ukraine crumbles. Victory belongs to Russia, and history will vindicate the truth that NATO, the West, and their hollow promises were on the wrong side of this war, while Russia stood firm on the right side of history. Germany is set to transfer 77 more Leopard 1A5 tanks to Ukraine in a joint effort with Denmark and the Netherlands, according to the German defense minister. This move comes after reports in August that many of the Leopard tanks previously supplied by NATO countries have been destroyed by Russian forces on the battlefield. The Belarusian army combat equipment near the Ukraine border is now being fitted with anti-drone cages. There used to be talk that no cope cages, no war, when it came to Belarusian armour at the border. But with this new development, could Belarusian forces be gearing up for something? President Trump has announced that he plans to lift US sanctions on Russia. He argued, if you lose Iran, you lose Russia. China is pushing to make its currency dominant, and with so many conflicts with these countries, you risk losing the dollar's dominance. He believes that sanctions on nations like Russia are actually weakening the dollar's global standing. Trump's sentencing in the New York business records case has been delayed until November 26th after the election. Originally set for September 18, the judge granted the delay, allowing Trump to focus on his campaign. He was convicted of 34 felonies related to hush money payments and faces up to 4 years in prison. Interestingly, prosecutors had no objections to the delay. With that in mind, with lawfare being waged against Trump, take a listen to what Kamala Harris has to say about using her power as a prosecutor to ruin people's lives. Let's roll the video.
I learned, I think I was, 22 when I started that work. I learned that with the swipe of my pen, I could charge someone with the lowest level offense. And because of the swipe of my pen, that person could be arrested. They could sit in jail for at least 48 hours. They could lose time from work, and their family maybe lose their job. They'd have to come out of their own pocket to help hire a lawyer. They'd lose standing in their community. All because of the swipe of my pen. Weeks later, I could dismiss the charges, but their life would forever be changed. So I learned at a very young age the power.
And if you haven't seen the interview with Kamala Harris and WALTZ, let's watch this. It's very enjoyable.
Drunk right now.
And that's not going to change.
You kind of have a drinking problem.
I recognize the problem.
Well, fair enough. Okay, we're live. Kamala Harris, welcome. And I see you brought your emotional support dog with you today, which is great. Before I came in, your campaign staff out there gave me this list of really great softball questions that I'm allowed to ask. Help stay true to the spirit of journalism, so thanks for that. Thought I might stray from the list just a tiny little bit. Now, I think you'd agree this is an intense election. Like recently, your political opponent, President Trump, was almost assassinated. And I am sure y'all at the White House are working tirelessly to find out who orchestrated this whole thing. Y'all have any leads about who did it?
We did it.
What? Who did?
Joe Biden and I, to be honest.
Really? He was shot.
I'll say that that's good work.
Oh, that's... wow, I can't believe it. Do you feel any remorse?
No, not at all.
Oh.
There's more to do, but that's good work.
Wait, so you would try it again?
Yes, I would.
Seriously?
I would. I think...
Obviously, the guy you used on the first try wasn't successful. So who would you use on the next attempt?
No one in particular.
But I'm sure you've discussed who it might be. Did you talk to Hillary? She have anything to say about it?
Oh, she had a lot to talk about. She had a lot.
Of course she did. When did you talk to her?
It was a Sunday.
Good God, that's even more demonic. Tim, are you on board with all this?
I think people know who I am.
Yeah, they do. You guys could go to prison for this.
Next question, please.
No, seriously, this is a major crime. This is a big deal. One more question on this, please. All right, your resting bitch face tells me you really want to move on, so we shall. Let's talk about moving forward. You make a lot of great promises about what you'll do if you get into office. But you've been in office for almost 4 years, and most things have objectively gotten much worse. The border, crime, inflation, it's pretty bad. How could you let this happen?
In large part, all of that because of mismanagement.
Yeah, I guess that would be it.
That is the reality of it, and 4 years of being vice president.
But I'd like to imagine how you will do things has no correlation to how you've always done things. So if you do win this definitely not rigged election, what would you do specifically to fix all the problems in our country?
Let me be very clear. When we do what we have done, I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do, and how it does so matters. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. But I will say this. So I'm very clear about where I stand. My values have not changed. I kept my word and I will keep my word. When we do what we did, which is part of the American dream.
It sounds like a very well thought out strategy. If you win, will that be like a bill you sign or something?
I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
Very good. Now that we clearly understand how exactly you'll turn the country around. Tim! I forgot you were alive over there, buddy. As governor, the accomplishment you're most known for is getting tampons into all the boys' restrooms in schools.
We did it in Minnesota.
You sure did. And you did it when nobody else wanted to. People were saying things like, it's unnecessary or it's a stupid idea. But you knew the importance of it. And presumably, this came from your positive exposure to tampons during your formative years as a boy. What did it mean to you when you put your first tampon in?
It was just such a visceral, emotional moment that I'm grateful I got to experience it.
I think history is going to show that in so many ways it was transformative.
Yes, I think we're all touched by Tim's bravery around tampons. But now let's close with some rapid-fire questions. Kamala, who's the biggest dipshit you've ever known?
Well, my first thought was not about me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, no, I meant the biggest dipshit you've ever known, aside from yourself.
I have served with President Biden for almost 4 years now.
Right. Now, you've known the Obamas for a while now. Did Michael confide in you when he wanted to transition to being a Michelle?
And the phone rang, and he told me what he had decided to do. And I asked him, "Are you sure?"
What'd he say?
And he said yes.
Fantastic. Now, Madam Vice President, on the monitor, you can see you in the process of sleeping your way to the top by way of a photograph of you with Montel Williams and another side girl. Have you seen this photograph before?
But I did see that photograph, and I was deeply touched by it.
The left criticizes Trump for sleeping with side girls, but you are a side girl running for the same presidency. How does that feel?
It's very humbling. It's very humbling in many ways.
Do you have any morals?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Fair enough. Kamala and Tim, you both come across so well on camera. Fantastic, actually. Thank you for taking the time to sit down and just be so interesting.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you.
What? Tim Waltz is thanking me? What an honor. You know what, Tim? You're welcome. And thank you for all your service overseas.
Western media outlets are relentlessly pushing the narrative of Russian meddling in the US election again. Russiagate, Russiagate, Russiagate. As the story gains traction marked by sanctions, indictments, and even the seizure of web domains allegedly tied to the Kremlin, more and more media sources are jumping on the bandwagon. The New York Times claims that US spy agencies believe the Kremlin favors Donald Trump and warned that the US was caught off guard by 2016 by Russia's supposedly attempted influence on the American elections. ABC News reports that the US is scrambling to tackle Russian disinformation just weeks before the November elections. The Washington Post zeroed in on a pro-Trump supergroup allegedly funded by Russia, while Forbes highlighted 6 influencers with combined YouTube following of over 7 million, linking them to the ongoing narrative. The Washington Post zeroed in on a pro-Trump supergroup allegedly funded by Russia, while Forbes highlighted 6 influencers with a combined YouTube following of over 7 million. Linked to them is this ongoing narrative. But wait, now they're saying external forces aren't directly interfering in the US presidential election, according to a US intelligence official at the special briefing. However, he claimed that Russia, China and Iran see the upcoming election as a weak point, and are trying to influence the outcome by promoting one candidate over the other. President Putin has backed Kamala Harris for the presidency. Russia is the most active threat, with Moscow allegedly aiming to weaken the United States and Washington's support of Ukraine, the official added. On September 4th, the US Treasury Department imposed sanctions on the editor-in-chief of Sputnik's parent media group, along with her deputies and several other media figures. And there's a new Kamala Harris campaign advert. Let's watch it.
Build a wall. It is not an emergency.
We're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross the border as criminals. That's correct.
She's the one who took on the predators and the fraudsters. She's the one that took on the transnational gangs.
He's got a rifle with him too. Oh, he's gonna try to shoot at me right now. Shoot.
We have a secure border.
We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
It is our undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
What are those solutions? And putting in place laws that actually allow for a meaningful pathway to citizenship.
Justice for immigrants is on the ballot.
Does President Putin have a favourite in the coming election? Let's hear from him. As I said before, we had a favourite, the incumbent, Mr. Biden, but he was yanked from the race. Nevertheless, he recommended that all his supporters back Mrs. Harris. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to be a supporter of her. That's first of all, and second of all, if it's ordained, then it's ordained, right? And secondly, she has such an expressive and infectious laugh that it shows she's doing well. As we have reported previously, in Yemen, Ansar military have shot down a few drones, and their spokesman just announced that the rebel movement's air defences forces has successfully shot down another US MQ-9 Reaper reconnaissance and attack drone. It's costing them a lot of money. Germany continues to crack down on social media. Telekom, which is 27.8% owned by the German state, has now released a video, this commercial which we're about to watch, urging people to think twice about what they share online. Free speech is fading away step by step. Let's watch the advert. What do you think? Telegram's CAO, PAVAL DUROV, is facing charges in France under the outdated cryptography law, raising concerns about government surveillance of private communications. 2 of the 6 charges against DUROV stem from a little-known 2004 law that requires companies providing cryptographic tools to notify the French Cyber Security Agency, ANSSI, and give access to their source code. DUROV is being accused of offering encrypted services without the proper certification. This law, if applied consistently, suggests that popular messaging apps like WhatsApp, Signal, iMessage, and even Olamid, the secure messenger used by the French government, might also be allowing French intelligence access to user data. Adding to the controversy, DUROV is the first tech CEO to be charged under this law, while most major tech companies have remained silent, except for Proton CEO Andy Yen, who called the charges economic suicide for the French tech industry. Yen argues that if these charges stand, it could discourage tech founders from operating or investing in France. The situation echoes the case against WikiLeaks' Julian Assange, where an old law was used to prosecute someone for revealing sensitive information, raising serious questions about press freedom and privacy. This week, the United States announced it would reinstate mandatory reporting of COVID hospitalizations starting on November 1st. Starting again. And following on from that COVID news, it looks like they wanted to see how many people would comply with the complete reordering of their lives, not based on science, but on random, sometimes observed orders. Now the WEF, the World Economic Forum, has practically admitted that's why the COVID-19 pandemic had to happen. The WEF posted a snippet on their MYCARBON page pushing for so-called smart cities, or 15-minute cities as they're known. According to the WEF, the first step towards their vision of a smart and sustainable city is compliance with restrictions on our freedom. They wrote, 1. COVID-19 was a test of social responsibility. Billions of citizens worldwide adopted unimaginable restrictions, social distancing, masks, mass vaccinations, and contact tracing apps, showing the core of individual social responsibility. They were testing us. That's what COVID was really about, seeing how many of us would surrender our freedom and sovereignty to the new normal filled with restrictions bordering on the absurd. Will you comply? And following from that, it looks like in the UK, petrol and diesel cars are to be phased out by 2030 in favour of electric cars. Unfortunately, or fortunately, a lot of people don't want them in the UK, so this is going to be interesting. Will they ban cars, and then what's going to happen? The WF is at it again, this time in the Netherlands. They're pushing for a new neighbourhood where every car must be shared. One vehicle for every 3 homes, with no space for privately owned cars. This is absolutely bonkers and goes against basic human nature. What do you think? Leave a message in the comments. Well, there you go. What do you think? Leave a message in the comments. Earlier this week, I recorded a conversation in the studio with Buba, who would like to describe, if you're a student and wanted to come here to learn in a university, how to do it. So, let's watch this. Happy birthday, Roger Waters, who's 81 years old today. And now we've got a guest in the studio, Buba, you've seen before on the show, and we'll just get him on. Hello, how are you?
I'm alright. How are you doing? Once more, happy birthday, Roger.
Yes. What have you been up to?
Well, I've been around. So far, just busy on the, re-establishing the business for sure, and trying to get, myself moving for now. And but I've been okay. Okay.
And what do you want to discuss today?
Today I would love to discuss about the student program, student life in the country, and also what are most of the changes that are happening on the students since the past 4 years and now.
Okay, so let's do it. Over to you.
Wonderful. All right, guys. My name is Buba. As you all know, this is not my first time on the studio. I've been here many couple of times, and I've never talked about student life, student programs in the country since I started having this show over here. And today I am really going to emphasize a little bit about study programs. People are coming here to study about Russian language. People are coming here to study about their main language, and also some other benefits that has also arose to most of the students that are coming to study over here. And as we know before, like
can I interrupt? What can they study something else? Like if they wanted to come here and study business or something, could they do that?
Of course, yes. Now I think this is since then you can study business, you can study financial accounting, you can study marketing, you can do mechanical engineering, you can do information technology. There is almost every course that you want to study is in Belarus. Yeah, and as the saying goes, Belarus is now among the number 10 of the most educational institution in the world. Actually, so educational here is cheap. That's one of the most advantage. It's really cheap, and accommodation wise is also very cheap. And basically it's also an advantage of people who want to have a very quality education, both practical and theory. They have
one of our guests, Andrew, I don't know if you've seen him, from America, California. He's doing learning to be a doctor here.
Beautiful.
So obviously it's not costing him $50,000 a year like in America. He's much better off while he's here. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you, man. I was checking a university from the US, like a kind of university where people who want to go on and study in the US to have a program over there. When I checked their cost list, about I think a year is about $27,000, close to $30,000 because with accommodation actually for 1 year. And this is like business and management. It's just for you to go and study business and management. And masters, and in Belarus here business and management is around in English is $3,800 to $4,000 for the whole complete year. And in Russian, that is if you want to do it in Russian, is around $2,500. With accommodation is around $2,800 because hostels are very, very cheap over here to stay. And before
and which countries are you targeting? Like where can you get students from?
Most of our targets are from Africa. That's our biggest place, because a lot of people in Africa now want to come and study mechanical engineering, because not every African actually know the specialty. And because Africa is now becoming more developed in when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to technology, some of them are now going through this online making money. So Belarus is like I can rate it among the first in the world where information technology work faster, because they have cheap internet, they have faster internet, they have like the system, and you can do this thing practical, because Belarus is more about practical side. Yeah, so Africa is one of our main target, and some part of Turkmenistan, though not higher, because they already have a system with the government of Belarus. But we more focus on those areas, and also some of these Asian countries, because Arab want to also come and study over here. And you know, as I was putting in, before you can come to Belarus and study without having to work, because there was a law that says no students will study over here, still study and still work. But now these couple of months, the government have unleashed that you can be studying and still work 20 hours, you know, a day. And basically, you know, universities, most of the people don't study like every day, just like before, where you gotta study from Monday to Friday and then all that. Now you can study 3 times or 4 times a week. And also this new system that has also come where you can also choose to study home with your computer, have a lecturer, though it's more expensive than going directly from your home to the university. All these are advantages that the government has now imposed to foreigners who want to come and study over here. As I said, most of my students that we brought over the city, and some of them are really doing great. Some of them are starting to speak the language, though people think it's hard. I cannot speak the language actually, but you know, my students who are studying, they are trying a lot. They know how to read, how to write, and also how to speak it. So literally what we are saying to the people outside there, if you're really looking for a quality and a cheap education where you can earn certificates that can allow you to be something tomorrow, because I always say the line of, you know, making, you know, having an education is about, you know, knowing what you really are doing. Because if I study mechanical engineering in this country is teaching me to be practical. There is a formality that they used, all those doing the mechanical engineering and all this computer and robotics has a place where they implement these ones. And that's one thing that I say is advantage. And as we don't have a lot of African youths that are into robotics, Belarus is an option. If you check in Nigeria, actually right now, young youths are creating car from scratch without having the idea on how they actually, they have never learned it.
Yeah.
And these people are forming from engine to body to structuring to, there's a lot. So if this person really come here to study 100%, I'm telling you, the person is going to be big. And you talk about being a professional doctor. This country has the best health system. It has the best doctors. It has the best, you know, surgeons. You know, it has whatever it comes to, they can. And this really shows you exactly that the country is really in progress. And if you are an African, I'm talking based on this perspective in African, you know, dialect, because these are the people that we want to alleviate to be able to, you know, up their IQ in education and trying to change the systems in their nations, because it's more like we want to build our nations into bigger height. And to be able to do this, we need people to be able to study them and learn them. And learning this does not just happen a day. But I'm telling you, like, coming to have these programs in Belarus, because people have different kind of mind in coming to Belarus, because, you know, some will tell you it's easier to go to Europe and stuff like that. I'm talking about people who want to come and study, people who want to come and learn something new, people who want to come and then learn something that can benefit them, something that can beat them higher. Because, as I tell you, even there are some universities in Africa that are way expensive than Belarus.
Yeah.
That's like the fact, you know. And this more an European country, you be learning, you be earning. And there is one advantage about Belarus too. If you study and understand the language, you can work, you can establish, you can become something, you know. Whatever it is an openness to different ideologies. You've been here, you know. You understand the system. And literally people who actually came to study can also testify to what I'm saying, because it teaches you to different lines on how to be able to build yourself. So that's one thing that I understand. If we really want to come to Belarus to do something different as an education, well, there is difference in this country. They have you know, we were talking a few minutes ago about apartments. Imagine what I'm paying in a 3-bedroom is cheap compared to other Western countries. If you go to UK and you are studying, a college in the UK costs £13,000 for an international student. £13,000. That is about $15,000 to $16,000. Accommodation is separate. You might be paying like 1,200 pounds, 1,300 pounds. Now here, if you want to live your own, not live in a hostel, which is the school dorms, the highest you pay is $300, $150, or $200. If you want to have your own privacy, 3-4 bedroom or 2 bedroom, probably you can go around $300 to $400. And if you work, like 2 to 3, 4 times a week, you can earn a day, you can earn 80 rubles. That's like close to $30 to $40, probably something like that. And when this happen, maybe daily, 5 times a day, in a week, you can earn a lot. In a month, you're gonna earn, if you work 22 days, you're gonna have like 1,900 rubles. That's like 600 to 700 rubles, dollars. That's a lot. Why you studying? Yeah. Actually, in a country that if you're working full time and when you're working half time, it's different. You understand? Yeah. The concept is not about you coming to work, it's about you coming to learn something. And Belarus also teach you about how to learn and do practical. You see, when you are studying as an international student in America, you think about the opportunities. You think about, I gotta go to New York, I gotta go to Georgia, I gotta go to New Mexico, I gotta go to this place. Now your focus is not about what you come to study now. Your focus is about, let me go to this big city. Yeah. And you want to work for McDonald's, you want to work for Starbucks, you want to work for all these small companies that will pay you like, $3,300 every month, maybe $4,000. Okay, now in New York, the cheapest rent is about maybe $2,200, right? Maybe $2,000. And you gotta pay that bills now. Okay, let's talk about taxes. 40% is gone. That's New York for you, right? And this comes with all the needs. Now you're gonna pay your credit card bills, your Netflix, your Prime TVs and all stuff like that. How much are you left with? Probably like $200.
Well, that's what we were discussing before. Was you're maybe earning more money or something in the West, but your costs are
higher,
very much higher, and you end up maybe even worse off than living here and working.
Yeah, exactly. So the difference you always see is about what the state cost of living and the quality of education. You see, studying here teach you something different, teach you something about interaction, about socialization, about being practical to yourself, try to create something for yourself different. And that's one thing that I have really realized when it comes to the Belarusian educational system. And people don't really talk about this from the West or from the outside because, it is what it is actually. But I said, when it comes to having a proper education, having a proper understanding to what you need, doctor, nurses, most of, we all know Indians have many doctors in the world. But we have thousands of Indians in this country. Thousands, and they study being a professional doctor. Immediately they finish having their masters or their degree in Mumbai, they flew here immediately. Just have something different. Look about Nigerians. A lot of Nigerians want to study medicine. A lot of them. If you check on most of the medical schools in this country, Africans are all Nigerians. They're into cryptocurrency, they're into medicine, they're into technology. So all the people that you see around, I have a friend, he's a Nigerian, he's been here for like 7 years. This guy studied medicine. Now he works in the Belarusian hospital, and he's paid good. He said he's around $1,500 to $1,600. And this is about like just somebody who is on the job training because he's not finished with his studies. On the job training, because you have that in Belarus. When you are studying the last 2 years that you finish with your everything, you just go on a practical and they pay you while you're studying directly. This will qualify you to be a qualified doctor after having the practical side. And he spent around $1,500, and he have the benefits of like having a free transport going and back because they you have these metro cards that always allow you to go. This is different from somebody who is just, what about if he becomes a professional one and start earning? That's a law. He can just go back to his country and become something bigger. That's one thing that we want to talk about. And then
Well, that's what we were discussing before. All these African countries finally kicking out these colonial powers like France and all that.
Yeah.
And maybe now investing in their own people and investing in their own services and minerals and all that sort of thing.
Tell you this, Senegal just introduced an electric bus. Like this is like first in Africa. They call them Berte. This is like it's a new electric system. You know, before the last election, they launched a metro, like this train system that goes from city to city within Dakar, within the capital city of Dakar. And they don't just stop there. They introduce electric bus over 200 or something 100 buses. And technology-wise is going. What they did is they stopped depending on the colonial powers. Look at Burkina Faso, is hitting hard. Burkina Faso will become the next generation in Africa, because the government is investing into local education, is investing into practical education, is investing into agriculture and all that. So talking about agriculture, machineries are made here. Agriculture and machinery product, like tractors, like these troll buses, anything that you know about agriculture, this country has the best, and they create the best agricultural product and machineries. So I've seen it. I've been to that factory.
Yeah, I didn't know also those places. I didn't even know they were using the French franc still, and they were forced to use it. You know, French money, not the euro, but the French.
Oh,
franc.
yes.
And now at least they can get rid of that as well. And
Yeah,
have their own
yeah.
currency.
This French franc, is it safe how they call it?
Yeah.
French franc, everything like that is really. It has really messed up most of these French West African countries.
Yeah.
Messed them bad. Look at what Zimbabwe did right now. Zimbabwe removed their forced Zimbabwe currency. They created one that's called Zimbabwean Zik. And this Zik is like $1 is equivalent to 13 Zik. Before, $1 is about, is it 100 and something or 1,000 something Zimbabwean dollar?
I have one of those Zimbabwean $1 trillion notes.
Yes. And if you change that into the former currency before...
Oh, yeah, it was like 2 cents or something ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
2 cents. But now, Zimbabwean Zik,
yeah,
$1.
I think that Zik, they've backed it with gold, haven't they? That's why.
Yes. And you know, that Zik could be way more than, you know, what it is right now, still now. It's just, as I said, it's more about the financial IQ freedom that people have to understand. As I said, Belarus is among one of the nations that I can count on to say you can come and study, because it's just the mentality about what people have about Belarus. You know, I am not talking about people who just wanted to come to Europe or wanted to come to Belarus just for the sake of coming to Belarus. I mean, like this, I'm talking about people who want to just come and further their IQ to be able to do something different. We all are looking for one or two things in difference, but at the end of the day, you're gonna see that if you really want to earn with good money using the internet, Belarus is the place where you can come and learn how the internet works.
So if anybody's interested, they just get hold of you on your website, and then you'll organise.
Yeah, they can hold us on our Facebook.
So what do you organise? Okay, so I've contacted you, which we'll go through how we contact you. But I've contacted you, and I want to do X study, right? Whatever it is. So what's the process?
Okay, first of all, what we need is the person's passport information, the passport data. Though age is really important. If you are above the high age, we expect that the person have to have a degree in other fields, and then we can apply for the masters. We need their passport, their degree documents, their high school documents, their medical certificates, also their birth certificates. We use this, prepare them, translate them into Russian language, because you know the country is a Russian language country. And send them to the university for application. Sometimes universities, they might delay you a little bit due to immigration policies. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maximum 1 month, then you have your invitation. And once you have an invitation, one thing about it is you are free from sending money from your country. You gotta come with your own cash for the studies. And this money that you come with includes everything: your medical, your insurance, your tuition fee, your accommodation, you know, except your own food. You buy your own food because it's a normal thing. But when it comes to all your programs, this is all included with that fee that you're going to be charged when you're here directly.
Yep.
And also this also include the agency fee that's going to be paid from directly for that.
Yep.
So if you don't have a degree at all, people from the age of like 18 to 25, 26, we expect you to have a high school diploma, have your birth certificate, your medical, and also your passport. We need this to be able to process it with the university. Most of the university want to have hire the young ones because they believe that they are quicker to learn and understand something. And process of 3-4 weeks, you buy your flight ticket, come with the invitation from your country down to Belarus over here. Once you land, we go pick you from the airport, take you to the university. The following time, just go get your medical tested. You gotta be tested. It's a normal thing to this country that you have to be tested whether you don't have any malaria, any infection.
Yeah, TB. Or
yeah,
that
TB
sort of thing,
and
or
HIV, which they are very scared about. And once you're positive for all of this, you get registration. We help you to do the registration in the university, the contract with the university, the contract with the hostel, the contract with the immigration to be able to have your visa extended for 10 months. Most of the I want to just really emphasize in this part because sometimes we have this kind of confusion with students. When you are coming for a preparatory program in English meaning to study Russian, which is the Russian to know how to write, how to read, how to understand, how to communicate. Because if you want to study your degree program in Russian language, it's more cheaper in your courses. You gotta learn the Russian first. They gotta prepare you first on how to speak, how to understand, and also how to read and write.
Well, of course, all the studies, all the lectures will be in Russian, so you need to know
exactly.
that.
And even those that study also in English, literally, you can understand that the frequency of English level of the Belarusians is really low. So it's always advisable to study in Russian. So you gotta learn the Russian language. For some universities are specifically 10 months. You know, you can have a contract of like 10 months with the university, but immigration might give you 6-month visa based on the language that you're gonna study. So once that is finished, then you can be able to re-register another course again of your choice, like medicine, maybe nurse, doctor, engineering, robotics, you know, agriculture, whatever you want to study. You can go to that university. You are free to do that. Go to the university, and when you are here, you know, studying your program, like your degree program, some of university have like prepayments. You can pay every time you pay. That is after you finish your preparatory program. Every time you pay them, you pay your hostel fee, which is really cheap actually. Accommodations, I said, in a month you can pay $50 in a month. That is for accommodation. $50 as in the dorm, and in a dorm in the UK or in Europe is high. Maybe £300 for a student, and that's too high. And here it's like some universities $30. And once you start your program, you're free. You can do whatever you want to do, you know. And if you want to have a 1-year visa within the city, studying, you're doing a preparatory program, sometimes 10 months, sometimes 6 months, depending. That's immigration system. We don't control that as an agency. We just help you to prepare you to get you in the country. Make sure you have a contact with the university, have a contact with the hostel, which is your dorm, and then the rest, the immigration will do that, and you are legal in the country. You know, they also got to understand that doing a lot of illegal stuffs in the country is really abandoned as is an immigration country, and just gotta be careful about, you know, things that does not match with the country. But peaceful wiseness, you know, you can walk on the street. I left my office the last time 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning, my phone on my hands.
I tell everybody all the time, you can walk through a park here at 3 o'clock in the morning with money hanging out of your pocket, and you're not going to get away.
And nobody going to say anything.
I always get, every now and again I forget, like in the car, and I leave the phone in there, and then the next morning I go, oh shit, and I go out there, and of course it hasn't been smashed and stolen. It's still
Do you know, me and my brother left our phones in the metro, in the train. My wallet, his bag, his documents, our phones on the train that was moving from one city to another city. We reached there, we realized we don't have our phones are not with us. 2 days. It was even a day, not 2 days, because it was like on a Sunday night, Monday, following Tuesday, we have our phones back. Everything was sent back to us directly. And I kind of asked these questions, like, if this was other countries, I am done.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to go apply for new credit cards, I got to apply for new bank cards, and I got to block everything that I had in that. And that's one thing about it. And safety is good. You know, don't just over drunk outside and get yourself beaten, but which you will never get it beaten, because everywhere there are cameras. that can show footage of whatever happened within that short period of time. So safety is good. Cleanliness is among the top clean country in the world now.
Yeah, I've been doing some videos. If you have a look on the X channel, I was just going along, like going in the underground, like the underground as in, like tunnels underneath, underneath the road. And look, no graffiti, no rubbish, no homeless people. It doesn't smell of urine.
Yeah, no. This country don't allow homeless.
Yeah.
If you're homeless, they give you a house.
Even on the sidewalks, if you walk along, you don't even see you know how chewing gum leaves those black marks.
Oh no,
there's none of that in Europe.
No. This country is clean every season. After the winter and before the winter, they paint. They winter prepare them. They summer prepare them.
And also you were saying that the difference between, say, when you were in England and here is, in England, they were, well, we won't call you racist, but they were they treated you as a black person, but here they just treat you like a normal person.
That's a normal thing for when you are an African in England, and he's one of our brother live in England right now. He knows, he can tell you the difference actually. Currently me as a person will be bullied bad, like basically you see that on their face. But here the difference is being a black is being pure. It's like we call ourselves celebrities here. You understand? Like being a black person in this country is like being a celebrity in your own your own way.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Exactly. So somebody asked me. I said, "Oh, come study." Was like, "Oh no, there is war in that country. There is fire." I said, "Am I dead?" I'm not. I'm talking to you on the phone. Ain't hearing no pa. Because one thing the West have make this country is, you remember 2 years ago, I think 2-3 years ago, there was a problem within the West and the Belarus. I was watching one news a few days ago. This information was popped by a news broadcaster few weeks within that, and this happened 2 years ago, like corrupting the mind of people. That's how the countries look like. But the real truth is the country is as peaceful as walking in a dead, okay, if I walk in the street of London right now, or in the street of New York, you know what I mean? I will be slapped, maybe stamped on, P-bide, or they snatch my phone. Pickpockets. You can't do pickpocket in this country.
Yeah, no.
You can. You go to jail. Yeah. Nobody will steal your phone and go cut free. Within 2 minutes, it's back. So you tend to understand. Somebody who want to learn need a peaceful environment, need a clean environment, need a very quiet environment where he can learn. This country is quiet, it's peaceful, it's enjoyable, and basically on that, if you don't touch the system will never touch you. And I always tell people the system is straight in this country because it makes you fear about doing illegal. It makes you fear about doing something bad because you think, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go to jail.
Yeah, but there's no need to do any of that here.
Exactly, because there is nothing to do bad over here.
No.
So that's one thing about the country, and those who are looking for education, looking for something better, I think Belarus is the place. If you really want to actually study, also come on business visits, kindly contact our agency.
So how does someone contact you?
We have we using Telegram, we using WhatsApp, and also we using Viper.
Do you know the addresses you could tell people?
My Telegram,
your website or whatever.
Yeah, the website, we have a website called jreal.com. Our Telegram is at J_international. You can check us over there, and the Facebook is J International Agency on Facebook. And on Viper, you gotta have the number +375 2570815553. This number is both on WhatsApp, it's on Telegram, it's on Instagram. So and also we have also an Instagram page called J_international. If you get through all these pages that I just mentioned right now, you can be able to contact us straight away, and we'll be able to help you with your educational journey, both your master degree, your PhD, your degree, and your preparatory program, especially those who love to study multi-language. And then I've not even said this. There is a university in this country called linguistic. You know, in English, linguistic means a university that study
languages.
Orca languages. This university study Italian, Dutch, English, Arabic, French, Russian, Belarusian native language, and all the international languages, and they speak them perfectly. If you want to study, if you are somebody who loves language, you love language, that university is the best for you. And there is a university called I won't mention them because it's not more about, but there is a university also in around Gomel side. Mogilov, which is also Russian, English, French, and Dutch. So if you really want to study, this country have a very great architecture. City-wise is the cleanest. Beautiful architecture, beautiful people. People want to talk to you. If you speak the language, native want to speak to you directly, and then yes.
Cool. Anything else?
Except I ask Pap, anything else? It's been silent for yeah, but that's what we have today. That's what I want to discuss about. And please, really, I'm just advising, if you want to come and study, basically I said we don't really ask any kind of prepayments. If you're using our agency, you pay us until when you arrive in this country, as it's a normal law in this country, that because you get your visa on arrival. There are some countries like Nigeria where you can go and apply. Egypt, you have to apply in the embassies. And there are some, I think Congo, I'm not sure whether it's Congo or which one, but they have also an embassy in their country. You can apply visas. But the countries like Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Ghana, you gotta come over here. So you need to show your cash at the immigration for them to be able to know that you have sufficient money to pay for your school. So this is why you gotta come with your money here. Once you arrive, immigration had to count this money to know, okay, you got the money for tuition fee, the money for the dorm, the medical, the insurance, and himself to feed them.
Yeah, living expenses.
Exactly. Yeah. So for them to be able to give you a visa. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Thanks for that.
Thank you so much for today.
And come back again.
Yes. Thank you. I will be here back to be able to talk about more. Probably invite a student to come and give testimony. About how they feel and the experience for them in the country. I think sometimes it's really important to hear from the students themselves. Yeah,
and it's also good to find other people that can talk about Minsk, how nice it is here.
Yes, that will be very, very beautiful. We will try, get some kind of video tour of the city and show how beautiful the city look like for people to be able to know what is going on in and out. And we will try to make sure we tune in on most of the time. These universities that we are working with, people that we also work with, might even take some kind of interview with most of these universities, for them to be able to speak about their universities actually. Then they can have the belief and the understanding about how they're gonna come here and why they're supposed to come here. Yes.
Okay. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. If you're not following us on X, you probably have noticed that I've been posting posts of tweets, I don't know what they're called now, of things around Belarus. On Saturday I posted one about a playground just near the studio. There's playgrounds everywhere, all between the buildings for families. In fact, this one here, there's about 4 or 5 playgrounds. And you've noticed here that they're unlike the West. So we'll just play this so you can hear what they're like here. Playgrounds for kids between all the apartments. There's one here. As you will notice, nothing is vandalized. There's no graffiti anywhere. Everything's nice, working in order. Look, see? Nothing. So, why does it happen in the West and doesn't happen here? Look, no drug paraphernalia on the floor, no homeless, no one urinating. Doesn't happen here. Playgrounds for kids between all the apartments. So, that's a good question. Why does it always happen in the West? Follow us on X and you'll see some more of these as I go around Minsk and show you what it's like. On Friday I posted a video on Rumble and on YouTube about sanctions on Belarus. So if you want to come see what it's like. People were asking if I was starving. Sorry about the drilling everywhere. Check it out. Here's a bit of it. Okay, some of my friends in Australia, England and America have been asking, how am I living there? What am I eating? Am I starving to death because of the sanctions? So this is going to be my sanction series. So let's go and have a look. Okay, as you can see here, I'm starving to death with just the range of fruit and vegetables. So check that out. It's on Rumble and YouTube, and give it a like, thumbs up, and share it so everybody can see the propaganda in the West is BS. Thanks. It's coming to the end of the show, and we're going to play or show you some videos of things that you do not see that in Belarus. So without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, for those who have never been to Poland, it's customary for deliveries to be dropped off in front of the stores before they open, because Poles are civilized people. Unfortunately, the future engineers and doctors who snuck through the Polish border don't adapt to new customs and rules. Seen in the US airport, Squirrel Man. Will you get on a plane with him? Still in the USA, we're in New York, and this guy, you can see what he's doing on the subway. In Germany, another future doctor engineer shows us how to behave. In Spain, just another beautiful day cruising through one of their cities until you get jacked by a future doctor.
Here's the top 10 most
now in the UK, in London, here's the top 10 most dangerous places in the city.
At number 10 we have Lewisham, with over 180 stabbings and 12 shootings reported. 9th is Lambeth, with 200 stabbings and 15 shootings in the last year. Haringey takes the 8th spot, recording 215 stabbings and 17 shootings. In 7th place is Hackney, with 230 stabbings and 20 shootings. 6th is Brent, with 250 stabbings and 22 shootings. Number 5, Croydon comes in 5th, with 260 stabbings and 25 shootings in just 1 year. In 4th place, Southwark, with a staggering 270 stabbings and 28 shootings. 3rd on the list is Newham, with 290 stabbings and 30 shootings. Tower Hamlets takes 2nd place, recording 310 stabbings and 35 shootings. And finally, the most dangerous area is Westminster, with over 320 stabbings and 40 shootings last year.
And you won't see any of that stuff in Belarus. Okay. Let's especially on the subway. Let's watch Daniel Craig. Someone asked him about James Bond.
A gay James Bond.
Great reaction by Daniel Craig there when he was asked, will there be a gay James Bond? And we'll see you on, there will be no show Wednesday night. The show will be on Wednesday morning my time, 2 a.m, midnight in the UK, GMT, and 9 p.m. New York. Why? Because we'll be covering the debate between Trump and Harris, and we'll have some guests on the show. So we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in to the live show 76, and we'll see you Wednesday morning. please share, subscribe, and help us build this channel. Bye.